Times of why we are not going to have a daily newspaper next year anywhere.
And what was the section?
It was about showing how capitalism essentially is responsible for the death of our newspapers for two reasons. Number one, I interviewed David Simon from The Wire that produced that show, and he was a reporter for the Baltimore Sun, and he tells this story of how back in the 90s, when they were the Baltimore Sun was bought, I believe, by the LA Times or whoever owned the LA, the Chandler family, I guess at that time. They started all these layoffs and buyouts. And the Baltimore Sun got rid of the labor beat, the courts beat, and the poverty beat. Well, this is Baltimore. You know, the reason why people read the paper in Baltimore is because it covers these subjects that affect their daily lives. Papers stopped covering these things because they thought they could make bigger profits by getting rid of reporters. People will still buy the paper, but we'll have less content, which is absolute insanity. People stop buying. And they blame the internet. They blame you. They blame the others. And the truth is that the New York Times had a great story on this a few weeks ago. The newspapers in Europe aren't folding. They'll have daily newspapers, print newspapers next year.
It's true. It's absolutely
and I think they have the internet.
No, I totally agree.
So the reason is because in Europe, they fund themselves primarily, number one, with circulation. Advertising is number two. Here, advertising is the main source of funding. Circulation, in other words, the people who are reading the paper, are number two. So if you put the people, secondary to the advertising community, then people are going to stop buying the paper. Can I give you one other reason for this item?
Then let's get, because I
know, I get so, I'm so upset about this. In the 17 elections between 1940 and 2004, the majority of American newspapers endorsed the Republican for president in 14 of those 17 elections. In other words, they endorsed the party that wanted to dismantle the Department of Education, that wants to decrease funding for education, wants to bust the teachers' union. And now we have a country with 40 million adults who are functional illiterates, who can't read and write above a 4th grade level, and another 40 million they can't comprehend above a 4th grade level. And the newspapers are wondering, gee, Paul, why don't people buy the paper anymore? Because you slit your own throat. You bad presidents and policies that have ruined this country and turned us into a nation of semi-literates and ignoramuses.